Let's jump to this next story. We've got this from NBC News. Republican House panel subpoenas Governor Walz in investigation of Minnesota nonprofit that ran a COVID aid scheme. The group Feeding Our Future faces federal criminal charges that it created fake children's names to seek reimbursements for meals they were never served. They say the House Education and Workforce Committee issued subpoenas on Wednesday to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, the Minnesota Department of Education, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture for how they responded to what federal prosecutors have called the largest pandemic fraud schemes in the country. The subpoenas obtained first by NBC News demand that Walz, Minnesota Commissioner of Education Willie Jett, and U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, and Agriculture Inspector General Phyllis Fong turn over documents concerning oversight of the nonprofit Feeding Our Future, which is alleged to have misused millions of dollars intended to feed children during the pandemic. There's what, hundreds of companies that were taking money illicitly?
Yeah, there were a lot. And in fact, in Washington state, there was a crazy Nigerian scheme where they managed to abscond with extra unemployment benefits, even though they weren't in the United States at all. There's no way to get those back. But there's photographs of Tim Walz with some of the Somali Americans who were convicted of this fraud.
And it's $250 million.
It's really a lot of money.
A significant amount of money.
And they took the money to feed hungry Minnesota children.
Allegedly.
And they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They bilked the state out of the money. They bilked all of us out of the money. And they didn't feed any children.
I wonder if this is why Tim Walz's family are endorsing Donald Trump.
It does seem like perhaps Tim Walz wasn't actually vetted. You know what I mean? Like
they wanted Shapiro, but after the panic, they just said Walz.
Right. They just panicked after. And Shapiro would have outshined her because he's actually, like him or don't like him, he's actually a leader and he's well respected. And Tim Walz seems like a total patsy. It doesn't seem like he has any idea about anything. He lied about his military record. He lied about, the way his children were conceived. And it turns out that maybe he was complicit in this. I have no idea, but he's going to have to explain it to Congress.
No,